All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Michigan's safe storage laws. And the reason I think this is so important because within the last week, I have seen two situations where a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old have shot themselves with their parents' firearm. And so I think it's really important to discuss this law. And maybe you don't know that this was a law. And so we're going to kind of talk about it today. And I'm going to show you these two situations. I think both of them are questionable. However, that's what we're going to talk about today. And we've got the MCL for you so you can look up the law for yourself. And again, like always, this will also be on our website under Michigan's firearm laws. Or you can find it on MSP's website or legislative.gov. So let's move on and let's get into these two stories here.
All right, so this is the first one I want to talk about here. So 2-year-old father or 2-year-old son shoots himself with his father's gun, and the father is charged under the safe storage laws here in Michigan. All right, so this event happened October 29th, 2024, and the next one we're going to talk about just happened roughly a week later. Okay, so this father in Grand Rapids, he now faces criminal charges after his 2-year-old son shot himself in the hand. Nakobe Thomas, if I'm saying his name correctly here the first time, Nakobe is being charged with a felony. Um, let's just look a little bit at this real quick. Okay, so Thomas told investigators he normally stores his weapon in a lockbox in the kitchen. Um, he couldn't recall if he locked his gun up on Saturday or not, according to court documents. And I'm interested in these court documents for several reasons. I'll show you in a second. Okay, the mom, on the other hand, who also lives in the apartment, told police she could not remember if Thomas had put the gun up and locked it away after coming home from work that morning. Okay, so very interesting there. Now, Nakobe Thomas, look at this, who has a concealed carry license. Okay, took his clothes off to take a shower, left his clothes in the bedroom closet. All right, so that's suspect anyway, because any of you guys that conceal carry out there already know what it's like in different environments, changing your clothes, go to the bathroom, whatever it may be when you have your gun on, right? It doesn't, there's no way for you not to know that it's not on your pants, right? Now wearing it, you still know it's there, right? You kind of feel naked without it. So anyway, and the fact you would just drop your clothes in the closet with a gun attached to your pants is beyond me. However, this guy did have a concealed carry license. Now, I can't knock him for that because this law went into effect February 13th of 2024. So we may not have known this law. Just depends on when he took his class and how long he's been a concealed carry holder. So, but this makes a valid point on, at least in our concealed carry classes, we tell people it is your job to know the laws. It's your job to keep up to date on the laws. Okay, whether you're a concealed carry holder or not, if you own a firearm, you should know the firearm laws. That's part of being a responsible gun owner. All right. Anyway, here's some more of the story, and I'll post the links to these articles in the description below so you have them. You can read these for yourself. Um, Couple of discrepancies in this, and I don't understand it fully. Uh, so the mom takes the boy to the hospital while Thomas locked up the gun. During interviews, they find the gun in the vehicle, um, and uh, so I don't know whether the dad went or not, but anyway, the gun was put in a container and thrown in the vehicle. All right. Anyway, they found another loaded weapon. They actually found several weapons inside their apartment, one of them being an AR-15, fully loaded, of course, and that was behind a violin case. And all the reports that I've seen said they didn't know if the gun was locked up or not. However, if you can spot an AR-15 behind a violin case, it is not locked up. All right. So anyway, the child's hand was only grazed by the bullet. Um, the child is expected to cover. Now, this carries up to a 5-year prison sentence. It is a felony under Michigan's law. Thomas, though, he also faces unrelated drug charges related to a smoke shop that he owns. It's actually a gift shop. They sell weed there. They sell a bunch of other stuff. But here's the other thing. He had a rate on his business where he sold stickers. Depending on the stickers they bought, particular ones uh, would open up the doors for particular substances. So he also faced multiple accounts of delivering a controlled substance, maintaining a drug house, and possessing controlled substances as well. So pretty mind blowing how a gun owner can be law abiding and still be engaged in other crimes. We have to pay attention to this stuff. Okay, this is not a responsible gun owner. All right, this guy actually gives a bad name for law-abiding citizens. Um, anyway, I'm going to look further into this case on my own later on. So let's jump over to the next one here, and I want to show you something else on the next one. Okay, so this one, the father is charged after his 3-year-old son shoots himself in the stomach. This story is kind of wild. You can read it on your own. Again, I'll post the links. But this 3-year-old was in critical condition after being shot. This happened at about roughly 12:44, 12:45 a.m. on November 4th, I believe. Let's see where that date went. November 3rd, I'm sorry. So he shot himself in the stomach. And a 15-year-old boy was left in charge of a couple other kids. Both parents were absent at the time. Um, the mom was at the laundromat, and who knows where dad was. Um, they left the 15-year-old boy with a 3-year-old boy, a 2-year-old girl, and a 2-month-old baby. Okay. So why a 15-year-old has that responsibility on a school night is beyond me. And to take care of these 3 little ones. I mean, I don't know. I don't buy the whole laundromat thing. Other reports say it was the children were left in the care of the father. The mom came home. No one else heard the gunshots, but they were both arrested. Mom and dad. Here we go. Right here is where it says it. Both parents have been detained. The children are currently at the police station or in contact with Child Protective Services. So that tells me that this guy was not a law-abiding citizen, pretty much because of this. When these situations happen, the charge goes to the one that the gun is registered to. Okay. So they both went to jail. More than likely, they're going to find out that it's a stolen gun. Um, anyway, maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. That is just what I assume. Plus, the stories don't line up. And hold on real quick. Let me see if we can find it. Might be back up here. The gun has not been found or recovered. Okay. As of 5:30 in the morning, um, they have not yet found the weapon. Okay. So this is a very interesting case too. However, outside of how interesting these cases are, this is a 15-year felony that he's got. He's got a $5,000 or $50,000 cash or surety bond. All right. However, even though they're that interesting, the point and the principle remains that this is a law that gun owners do not know. All right. And they should. If you are a responsible gun owner, you should know these laws. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at these laws, and then we'll post them up on the website for you to view as well, and also give you the resource for them. All right. Here is the law. Okay, now you should learn this in your CPL class. This right up here where it says the Act of 372 of 1927, that is to be in your concealed carry class. That's part of the laws. This is the MCL code. At the very beginning of the presentation here, the video, we put that MCL code on that. So you can always go back to that on, let's go back down here. You would just go to legislature.michigan.gov, and you could also just type in that code as well. This one up here. Okay, fair enough. or you could just look on our website under the firearm laws. All right. Anyway, this all pertains to FFL dealers, parents, people that are going to have minor children in their home, the whole thing, right? I do think that there are some things in this law that are not, I don't think they make sense. I don't think this was a very thought out law. I think it was just kind of thrown together, right, to show face. Um, and I don't even know what happened prior to this law. Like, what happened if a child got a hold of a gun, right? I think this sets a lot of people up for a lot of bad things. You can read it for yourself, but we'll just talk a little bit about it. So, this part up here talks about what you should do in your home. This is for if minor children are in your home. If you don't have anyone under the age of 18 in your home, then this law doesn't apply to you until there becomes minor inside of your home, right? So anyway, you just keep your gun locked, okay, in a box or a container. You keep the firearm unloaded and lock the firearm with a locking device that is properly engaged to render the firearm inoperable by any individual other than the owner or unauthorized user. Okay, so that's pretty much it. You just lock your guns up. Okay, if you're gonna have guns, they don't want them loaded, and they don't want them to be left for others to get a hold of. Okay, so lock them up and keep them unloaded. Okay, I don't like that part because what if someone breaks into your house? You know, then you're kind of behind the curb. So I don't think this law is going to benefit anybody in that way. And when we talk about the Castle Doctrine later on in some of the other laws, we will go back to this so that you can see how this sets you up for failure. Okay. In the way of a home invasion. All right. So then, an individual who enters the premises of another individual. So you're going over to your buddy's house to, celebrate his kid's fifth birthday party, okay? And stores or leaves a firearm unattended on these premises, and who knows or reasonably should know that a minor is or is likely to be present on the premises shall do one of the more following. Store the firearm in a locked box or container. Keep the firearm unloaded and locked. The firearm with the locking device that is properly engaged to render the firearm inoperable by any individual other than the owner or an authorized user. That doesn't sound right to me. Anyway, uh, by the way, I'm seeing all these grammar issues right here and how one word when it should be two. This is not my doing. I literally downloaded this from legislature.gov or legislator.michigan.gov. So this is just your tax paying dollars at work right here. Okay. This one here, just to let you know, these are not my errors. I didn't copy and paste or nothing. I really downloaded it uh, to Microsoft. So anyway, then there's a part where if you go over to you're on the premises, you can do both of the following: the individual's motor vehicle, store the firearm in a locked container. Now, I thought this was interesting about storing your gun in a vehicle because guns are the number one places guns are stolen is from vehicles. Okay. And so I'm kind of wondering how this is gonna work out here. I mean, you can read it here also. Okay. But an individual is guilty of a misdemeanor punishable by imprisonment for not more than 93 days or a fine of not more than $500 or both if the individual violates subsection 1 or 2 by failing to store or leave a firearm in the required manner as a result of the violation. Both of the following can occur. And this is if a minor obtains a firearm, if the minor does either of the following: possesses or exhibits the firearm in a public place. Well, what's a public place? Certainly your home is not a public place. So how they would get one in a public place, I don't know. Maybe uh, I don't know where that would apply. Maybe he takes yours, your kids. I don't know. possesses or exhibits the firearm in the presence of another person in a careless, reckless, or threatening manner. There's a lot of questions about that as well, and I think this is why we always hold our legal seminars so that attorneys can dig into this and let you know kind of what the law is in this. Um, if an individual violates sections 1 or 2 by failing to store or leave a firearm in the required manner, and as a result of the violation, a minor obtains the firearm and discharges it, and it inflicts injury upon a minor or any other individual, the individual is guilty of a felony punishable by imprisonment for not more than 5 years or a fine of not more than $5,000 or both. Same thing, if the individual violates the same stuff, right? Then a minor obtains the firearm, discharges it, and it inflicts serious impairment of the body, right? Upon the minor, upon a minor or any other individual, it is a felony. They are guilty of a felony, punishable by not more than 10 years or a fine or both of 7,500 bucks. And if it goes on, and they do the same stuff, and they don't lock it up, a minor obtains a firearm and it causes death, it's a 15-year sentence, um, or a fine of 10,000 or a combination of the two. Okay. So those are the penalties of that. Uh, Now there are sections in here, where they have some different circumstances. A child can use a firearm with the permission of the minor parent or their guardian. They can obtain a firearm that way. Use or possess a firearm under the supervision of the minor's parent, guardian, or an individual who is 18 years of age or older and is who is authorized by the parents, by the person's parents or guardian. Okay. Um, so I don't understand this one here, the minor's employment, why they would have a gun for their employment if they're a minor, I don't know. Because even at 18, when these young guys go into the military, they're given a weapon, and they do their job, but they're not minors. So I can't think of any circumstances where a minor would have a place of employment. Um, Maybe I'm just not thinking hard enough. I don't know. But you can still take your child out here, as you can see, for target practice and instruction, um, things like that. All right. So here's the whole law on it. Your child can also, if you allow them to use your firearm to protect their life or the life of another human being, you may teach your child to do that as well, and I encourage you to. Please have the conversation with your kids, and whatever age group they are, just find a way to get certain things through to them, because the one thing that we know about little children is whatever you don't want them to find, they're going to find, and whatever you tell them no at, they're going to go after even more. Okay, at least that's been my experience for myself and my children. So I always want to make sure that I'm talking to my kids about firearm safety, about gun ownership, about do's and don'ts, and that kind of thing. All right. So just please be a responsible gun owner, so that these laws here, and learn these laws, and so that you don't become a victim of them just by an accident happening. Okay. Train your kids, get yourself some training, and keep up with the laws. Okay. That's a responsible thing to do. This is also why we hold our legal seminars, and we'll post those up on the website as we schedule them. It'll be a while before we hold another one, but this is up here for you. And so we're going to end it there. Have a good night.